Well, hello.
Hi. So, hi, how are you? It's so weird doing this with you finally because
Right?
usually I'm doing one by myself and it was interesting. So, where are we?
We are back in the States, in Florida, Sarasota.
There you go. So, yeah, we're back in Sarasota, Florida. I know it's been a while since I posted a video because, well, we're going to explain all that. Oh, I just shook the camera. I can't put my feet up there. I got a little too relaxed. My goodness. And hopefully my voice is coming in good with the microphone here as well, too. Um, yeah, so we want to give everybody an update, everybody who usually follows us and all the family and friends who are kind of curious on what's going on and what's happening, because I know that a lot of people have heard different rumors and things. And we were looking at, well, we changed our life to sale, and then we were looking at, was that really the best choice? It wasn't really so much buyers anymore. So I did send that an email to Fontaine at one point.
Did you?
Andrew said he laughed. He's like, "Yeah, I read that. I'm beginning to feel buyer's remorse." I think it was after the middle of the Atlantic when the engine was still filling up with water. Well, I shouldn't say filling up, but leaking enough to make me nervous. So, but yeah, it was when the handle came off. Remember, we were in the Atlantic, and I went to get up, and the whole
the bathroom door.
No, not the bathroom door.
The handrail coming
the handrail. There you go.
The handrail coming up.
Just came off in my hands.
Yeah, the handrail that has two steps leading to the master corridors.
Yep. So luckily, I have a lot of balance, but
this morning.
it was that we were rocking and rolling, and it was rolling. By rock and rolling, I mean the ship was up and down. Patience was, and I went to get up for my shift, and it came off. And yeah, I think that was the one that really, I was like, you know what, getting a little buyer's remorse here, because there were just things that shook out on the boat that were crazy. They took care of everything, so let me go back to that. It's not that Fontaine's a bad boat. It is not. They do a lot of production, and these are things that shake out on a boat. I just happen to get quite a few of them as we cross the Atlantic. So we'll go over all that because they took care of us and they treated us quite well. So, and we're very, very kind to our inexperienced new boat owner needs and desires, and whining and crying and venting, definitely venting. So anyway, I digress. I forgot all about that little bit of the adventure. So going through it, we took off, as everybody should know, and if you don't, we'll give you a good summary here, so it's all there. And I think we took off December 12th, actually. I know it for a fact because we picked them up the 11th. We took off December 12th from La Rochelle, France.
Yep.
And we had a crew. We hired a pilot to get us across the ocean. We had a volunteer crew, Sebastian. He was awesome and excellent the whole time. We had two good sailors. I can't deny the pilot being a good sailor. That he was. We went from you can hear people in the back talking too. Awesome. That's okay. Everybody should be able to talk. Okay, so we went through. I just wrote it down. We went through from La Rochelle, France, across the Bay of Biscay in winter, to Vivaro. From Vivaro, we sailed to Nazarene, from Portugal. From Nazarene, Portugal, we went to Mindelo in not South Africa, off the coast of Africa. And then from there, we crossed the Atlantic, getting to St. Martin. Just talk about that. It was a good experience. The Patience handled it well. She ran into quite a few problems, and before we get into like the major challenges there, some of the challenges we had were simple things. Like I said, the handrail came off. The armrest on the salon just fell off. They had short little screws. They're looking at getting that repaired. We have it fixed now, but the armrest came off. That came off. The fabric was separating from the wall, which we still have. That's our final thing we got to get repaired. I don't know how that's going to work because apparently we got to replace the whole thing. So we'll see what's going to happen there. The bathroom door, it worked itself loose. Oh, the master cabin door, because of something, it got caught there's a track that slides it back and forth. If you don't know, we have a 40 FP 41 catamaran that got jammed because the fabric caught underneath it, and I actually had to rip it because we were stuck in the
Cabin.
and I had to move it. So I forced it through, ripped it open. We locked it open that way, and yeah, we had water in the forward port locker. We saw a small crack there. We sealed that. We had water in both engines, and the bilge pump was coming off, and we weren't really sure on that yet, but the bilge pump was coming off, and or going off, so we had to pump that out pretty much
daily.
Well, every other shift, so every 6 hours,
yeah,
we ran it. So, which was crazy, which is another thing. The beeps, we'll talk about those later. What else did we run into? I mean, everything else was pretty minor. There were the AC and heating elements. Oh my gosh, we totally forgot that. The AC and heating elements weren't doing what they did.
The
thermostats. We figured it was maybe air in the line. We finally had that.
Yep.
Not realizing that. And then, but it was weird. Like the maid salon wouldn't go. The bathroom cabin would just blow air, you know.
And then cycle into HP.
A sporadic beat that kept up one of our crew members all night, so I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and that seemed to work. So these are just all the little tiny things, but they kind of stacked onto each other. And through all my emails, through all of my calls, FP was really good about getting things done and working with us. Some they had to wait until we were in the Virgin Islands to handle, but they handled it all, absolutely. And gave us pointers, and then just learning a new vessel like Patience, who has, 27K bank for lithium,
and then the autopilot situation.
Oh yeah, and then the autopilot as well too would go out, and we figured that maybe the rudder control working against.
The rudder was always at
maximum hold.
Maximum hold.
It's hydraulic, so
yeah,
it was interesting to do it
because of the
new full-time sailors across the Atlantic.
And it really, they didn't pick the best time to go, so it wasn't all FP. We picked like the hardest time to cross the bay and cross the Atlantic.
Yeah, the weather windows being what they were. So, but we made it. The big challenge is actually the pilot. That was it. Once we got to St. Martin, you were done with the big ocean. Oh, but we gotta,
I don't think it was just the big ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big part of it, but it wasn't. It was just a combination of everything where I tapped out. My body tapped out.
Yeah.
My brain tapped out. You can only load down your brain so much till it's going to tap out.
Yeah.
It was one thing after another. It wasn't just one thing. Of course, it was the big seas, but it was also the cold that I already don't like.
Mm-hmm.
With rain and heavy winds on top of the cold, just added to that. And go ahead.
No, go.
And then the heavy seas, and then because of the heavy seas, I was constantly seasick.
Yep.
And then constantly being told that I'm destroying my boat. Between it all, I couldn't take anymore.
And to be fair, the hormones as well.
Oh, like and then my hormones, yes, of course, yeah.
The hormones aren't the same that we got in Thailand that you can get in the States.
No.
Very few people. And afterward, we realized very few people grab hormones from anywhere else. Lisa needs them. And she has a specific compound that's made here in the States. So, and after we even when we hit France, we kind of realized that was the place where you got to get them. So, and a lot of people do. A lot of people return back to the States to get them. So, There's
Yeah,
that.
and to touch on that just a tad, not to linger on it too much, but
It's a good
for
thing
me
people know.
personally, everybody, any woman knows what hormones are in menopause. For myself, I got forced into what they call clinical menopause whenever I was only 42 years old.
Yeah.
And when that happened, it destroyed my thyroid, where my thyroid doesn't perform. And thyroid is a very important organ
Gland.
that the body uses. And what it is basically, if you look it up, the thyroid is what communicates with the body, telling the brain where to send all these hormones. Well, if the thyroid's not working, then the brain doesn't know where to send all this stuff and how to. It's basically wire. Anybody that knows biology would know what I'm talking about. Um, but to keep it simple, my body doesn't. I had a 100% complete hysterectomy, where I have nothing, meaning my body doesn't produce anything at all, zero. Like when it comes to women's hormones, meaning estrogen, estradiol, progesterone, uh, testosterone, and then the thyroid hormone as well. My body doesn't produce any of that, like at all. Whenever you have a partial hysterectomy, or if you go into menopause naturally, your body still produces a little bit um, to level you, to keep you somewhat level. For me, it's like um, giving you food to eat and then putting you on the desert island and telling you you have no more food to eat for months and your body's got to survive. That's the simplest way to put it. Um, and eventually you'll starve to death. Well, that's what I was doing. I was hormonally starving, in which that's what I did. And I had a mental breakdown and I coped the best I could. And poor Tony got the brunt of it. But
Yeah.
I think it showed us as a couple what we can endure, and we're going to need to endure going forward in this adventure. And we have to be able to put up with each other, right? To do this adventure. And it showed
I'm not
us,
coming home for the home months.
it showed us, though, we can get to the worst of the worst. And we made it through it. So that's no joke.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, a lot of things would have been different. And if any one factor would have changed, it would have been the same scenario. I remember Dennis Hopper in a really cheesy movie said it once. If I would have had this information before, I wouldn't be in this situation right now. Meaning that if you would have known everything beforehand, we would have known this, we would have been able to prepare. Everything else would have been different. And there were other things we talked about too. So by the time we got to St. Martin, you felt it was best if you went home to get your medication and to get back on land and to see people you love and get loved on, and
I needed
get that
familiarity. I need
familiarity.
in the condition I was in mentally, I needed familiarity to calm my system down,
Mm-hmm.
so that I could respond to what the doctors were going to do to help me. So I thought it was the best thing to do. On top of, not to go into it too much, but there were personality clashes. And on that note, be careful on whenever, if you're out there and you're considering doing this and you want to
It's a little
someone,
windy, so it's going to be shaky. Sorry.
hire someone to come on your boat. Uh, don't be afraid to take control of your vessel. It's yours. Don't ever.
Airplane. I don't know if they'll be able to hear
I
us.
think it would
You have
be
the
okay.
mics.
You
Okay.
think?
I'm
No?
hoping, but we'll find
Okay.
out.
Sorry for the noise. We have an airplane flying over. So we're right by the Sarasota airport. But anyway, be careful whenever you're interviewing people to come on your boat, because it can really. I knew that it could make a difference, but you really don't know something until you actually experience it. And now we have, and the importance of not lowering your values, regardless. Uh,
Uncompromising.
Compromising, yeah.
I think that's a good
Yeah,
way to put
yeah,
it.
compromising your values. You just You don't want to,
Yeah.
even if it's money. Figure out another way, because your mental health, there shouldn't be anything more important than your mental health, and that includes money too. And that was a valuable lesson that I learned.
Well, like we said, if it was any different, and we'll address the whole crew thing in a whole nother video because I think it needs its own spotlight. But I got to say, the rest, everybody else on the crew is great. I won't take the sailing. We got to where we needed to be, and so anyway, once we got to St. Martin, we made some big choices. I decided to go forward. We switched out the crew. Dear Sebastian had to go see somebody.
He went to go see a girl.
Young love's good, and or love deep affections, however you want to say it. I don't want to embarrass him too much. I won't say it was love. He wasn't like love struck, but he was very looking forward to. So whoever you were, who Sebastian went to go see, oh my gosh, you were the highlight of the trip. So anyway, it was fun to hear about him. So we went from St. Martin over to the BVIs. We dropped the crew off in the BVIs because you got to get vetted through America with the visa if you don't have the right visa, which everybody's worried about in this political climate, which everybody should be worried about. We all know that ICE and Border Patrol is an interesting place at this moment, and that's all I'll say on this video about that. But it did worry many of our sailors who weren't citizens, and even those from Europe, white Caucasians, couldn't believe the things they were reading about us as Americans. So anyway, going back, we switched young Sebastian with Eric, who is an older sailor, a teacher of sailing, a teacher of middle school or whatever they call it, the secondary school. And he was an awesome sailor. He had a lot of things. I learned a lot from him. He was just a very quiet sailor. But even he said he crossed the Atlantic once and he never wants to cross it again. He doesn't like to sail more than 2-3 days. And that's good enough for him. He likes the island hop. So that was pretty cool. And we had a good window. So from St. Martin, we already talked about that. We went to BVIs and the USVIs. We're just going to have the boat looked at. The pilot at the time got very anxious about wanting to make a weather window because at this time we're already at 45 days together and we're just trying to get the boat back to the States. That's it. That was the goal at this time. In retrospect, I should have just parted ways, got everybody home in St. Martin, and just handled things myself. But we'll go into that on a different video. Once we couldn't stop in Puerto Rico because the pilot couldn't find a place to put a catamaran in Puerto Rico. I want to say that again because I want to get that stressed because I found plenty of places. The pilot couldn't find a place to put the catamaran in Puerto Rico. So we sailed to the Dominican Republic, and we didn't even go there. We were trying to get through the Bahamas, but the storm a month ago or 2 months ago pretty much shut down the Atlantic. There was another crew that got beat up for about 10 hours. We was trying to get a ship to the Miami show in February, and they couldn't make it through there. The captain had a plan, or the pilot had a plan to go up into the Bahamas north for like a day and then come back. We wouldn't even make 10 miles. And I questioned the safety of the ship and the crew. And at that point, amazingly, we were told that, you know, after I said we could just turn around and I'll pay you and you can go your way, we'll go ours. He was like, well, I just don't have the crew to make it through there. So if we can't, then we have to call it quits. And I was like, okay. So we went back to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we went our different ways. So that's that. At the time, Lisa was here in Sarasota, and we were kind of debating because she wasn't sure whether she wanted to sail again or do this or that, and she was still getting her hormones regulated.
Very much not stable with
and she wasn't looking forward to long passages because the goal is to sail around the world. So instead of getting another Airbnb here between that time and leaving the boat in the USVIs, we decided, I convinced her, I was like, why don't you come down here? You pretty much have a floating condo. And this is exactly what you were talking about. And I'd say you weren't even on the boat a day, and you wanted to sail to all the islands. You're like, can we go over there? Can we just go out and sail over there? And I was like, oh, one step at a time. Let's do baby steps. So, but you enjoyed it. You know, you just
Yeah.
got to stay busy. You don't like being on a boat for day after day, which is that's not why we sailed. So we're gonna be definitely doing more adventures, keeping busy, and we got lots to do on the boat, and we got lots to get done, and we'll talk about that. And once we got to the first, or whenever we had to be here for the Airbnb, we flew here. We left the boat there. They had to pull it out. So FP got the leak fixed. Um, we had a composting toilet, which to the winds, I think they're fabulous. I understand them. Unfortunately, they're not for everybody,
True.
you know, and with some of the challenges you have, the separation. If you don't know how a composting toilet works, I will do a full video on it now that I have a clean one. And I'll show you exactly how it works. But solids and liquids are separate, and that can be a problem for some folks. So we decided to put back in we wanted a manual.
We're going to do a manual
Pump.
because
Less
if you
electricity.
do a manual pump, it does avoid the macerator, which I didn't know. I was unaware of.
Yep.
If I would have known that before the composting, I probably and knew everything that I know now,
Yeah.
I would have asked for a manual pump toilet from the very beginning. We didn't learn. I learned about the manual whenever we were in Mindelo.
Tina and Jack. I believe.
Yes, Tina and Jack. Hi, by the
Wonderful
way.
people. We'll put the name of their boat down here somewhere.
Yes.
Like over here by my toilet.
They gave us a tour on their wonderful monohull that I actually like it so much. They have a king bed, but anyway, back to the toilet. She's the one that showed me, and I didn't even know it existed. And so I asked her, "Is there a macerator that you have to deal with?" And she goes, "Oh no, that's the reason why we did this. Is because John refused. I'm sorry." Yeah. Jack refused to
I hope I'm saying that right.
work on macerators because they're a consistent problem, which I had shared with Tony when we first went to purchase patients. And I'm like, "Can you show me more?" And so she showed me how it works. And I'm like, "And you don't have to have a macerator?" She goes, "No, it shows you just pump it. It goes down into the tank. And you put this solution down in the tank that breaks it all up down there. And then you flush it out. And that's all you do." So I'm like, "Okay, I have to talk to Tony about this." So we now have a manual pump toilet. We're actually in the process of trying to get one put in now while the boat is there in St. Thomas currently.
Yeah. I was looking to see if it was Jack, because I want to make sure I got his name right.
Yeah.
So
I think it's Jack and Tina, which they're awesome people.
They are. They were hilarious.
Miss you guys if you see us.
We'll see you again. So, oh my gosh, we just stopped talking in the middle of the whole thing, right? We're just spacing off like we're talking silly. So we left the boat there. We've been here for 30 days. We fly back. We fly out up north Wednesday, and then we see family. We're gonna bounce around and see everybody, and then we're gonna head back middle of the month back to the USVIs and start getting ready to head south. We have some sailing we want to do. We got to see what work's done on the boat, what we got to get fixed up. We'll probably take 2-3 days to make sure everything's ready. No bugs, no creatures, no nothing, no add-ons. Make sure everything's put back where it is, because when you have crews, sometimes things get jostled around, and the best laid plans of mice and people, and we got to reorganize some stuff, and there's some stuff we don't need.
There's actually a lot of food probably you and I won't want, but
oh yeah, I think so. That's all.
Yeah. Is it?
It's all West or European.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing. I mean, like the flour and that. I mean, what? Well, anyway, we'll figure it out. So things like that we'll be going through, making sure everything's ready for her to sail. I think our biggest thing is whether we're going to go to Puerto Rico right away or just head south. I think we're going to go to Puerto Rico and then go back that way.
Well, also, our gentleman with Fontaine that's taking care of the warranty stuff.
Yeah.
His name
Andrew.
Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. My apologies. I'm really bad with names. Um, he's looking into helping us if we get a generator. But it's not going to be a wired generator. It's going to be a portable generator that we can just lower down into the front locker, and then we would just pull it with a winch. Which Tony will do a video on that later down the road. We're just giving you snippets of that, but it's
might help us. He's going to help us pick it up and bring it to the
yeah. What do we mean by helping us? He offered with his truck because he has a truck. He offered if this is what we decide to do, that he would help us go pick it up in his truck and bring it to the two patients with us for us so that we can get that taken care of.
Yeah.
And the only reason we're deciding to do a portable is it's just much easier if there's any problems to just easily switch it out.
Somebody.
Yeah, easily switch it out. Has nothing to do with Fontaine whatsoever at all. It just has to do with
being in the Pacific.
Yeah, and just if we can have air when we're sleeping, that would be nice, and not having to deal with all the wiring and stuff, and just use it when we need it would be nice.
Okay. There's our generator.
I noticed. Oh no, this is fine. I thought there was something wrong with our tripod.
There's not. The tripod's perfect.
Anyway,
we got a new tripod. We got new things because one of the things that happened, and I didn't realize it, was after all the travel, I was missing bits and parts for like making videos. The videos sound horrible. I remember my friend Rory, who always made it clear that bad sound, I won't even listen to it. So I'm always worried about the sound, and it's true. People can forgive bad video. They rarely forgive bad sound. So if ever our sound sounds weird, let me know and I'll get it fixed.
Yeah, please always let us know if there's anything in the video that's kind of off-putting or just not very entertaining. That's how we learn. And if it's anything, any information that's not clear, please don't hesitate to send us a message and ask questions. That's what we're here for. So yeah.
Wow, that was a plug and a half. Way to go, you. So now we got you caught up to where we are. So that's exactly where we are right now. I'll be putting this video out with a bunch of snidbits on our journey over. So I'm sure you probably saw it already as we've been talking during this little type interview or table talk. Table talk. I like that table talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one woman at SNL.
So what's our end result where we're going to we're going to St. Thomas. We're going to sail around there for a little bit.
We're going to sail around the Caribbean. So Puerto Rico, and then we're going to head south. We were looking at spending like a couple days at each island.
So each island going down the Caribbean.
Yep, I'll show a little map like over here that shows the little Caribbean going down. And then once we're there, we actually have a seasonal berth in Grenada.
Yes, we're heading to Grenada.
We'll check out the Grenada, Tobago, Trinidad area. We'll bring the boat back up. We'll bring patients back up, I want to say, in November. So not November 1st for everybody who's here in Sarasota and such, and family and friends. But probably right somewhere in November, December, we'll have the boat here. We'll stay up here until hurricane season comes, and then we'll head down to Central and South America. That'll definitely be the plan. And then by that time, you'll have a clear idea of whether or not you want to do the first crossing, because that's 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're not good at that, we'll get a crew. By the time we start heading to Central America, we'll be looking for crew. And even coming back up to the States in November, we'll be looking for crew. It's first time going down there. And to go on that crew thing, I guess it's one of those things about compromising. These are people you live by. And I guess
with. Yep.
Being from the service and having that mentality and then dealing what we dealt with on the boat, I would change things greatly. And we came up with the whole notion that if it's not a hell yes, it's just a hell no, no matter what. And, we're coming up with, we'll be doing interviews and such like that and looking at people who want to cross. A lot of people have hit us up already. We have you renumbered. You're stored. So if you send us messages every now and then, it won't hurt to keep you fresh in our mind. And I guess the biggest things we're going to say about the crew is just, the biggest thing to find out how well people deal with things. And I'm going to say it point blank is one, tell them they're wrong. And then, that's another thing. Tell me one time when you were wrong about something and how you fixed it.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal as we move forward. And because for me, I like community and I like people, and I think doing these crossings will make it much easier for me if I have people that I can just sit and chat with. And because I get not so much lonely, but I just get bored and lonely easily, even if I'm in a house.
You're a social butterfly.
I am.
You really like
I
people.
am.
You just really do.
And the whole reason why
Why you like
we are
people?
going to Grenada, for anybody out there that's new, that's getting ready to do this, is because there's a hurricane season and there's a hurricane belt. And the reason why we picked Grenada was not really us, it was our insurance kind of picked that area for us because it's below the hurricane belt. To where it's rare if a hurricane makes it there. They do, but it's rare. And
Pretty
so
rare.
if we don't get below that hurricane belt, our insurance is ex-nate as far as hurricanes go, unless we want to spend an enormous amount of money paying just for hurricane season, which we have obviously elected to not do. So we will be going south to Grenada, and that's the whole reason why we are going and heading to Grenada.
Well, it was between Grenada and Colombia
Yes.
because we wanted to do both, but we met a lot of people on our journeys, and it
Mm.
seemed like Grenada is a place, and we'll know some people there, and we'll be able to hook up with them and see some faces, and actually chill like we wanted to. The rush across the Atlantic, especially when you have a pilot who needs to get somewhere as quick as possible, you don't get to actually chill and take your time
Yeah.
learning about things as you need to. So, yeah, we'll be able to hang out in Grenada for a bit. If we don't like it there, we'll just go to one of the other islands or even more and more south. So it's a little fluid, but for right now, we're at least spending a good month of June, maybe July there, maybe longer. It depends on how well things are and what we can do in that area. So,
Yes, and I want to put a hi out to Jean and Fabian because those are the friends that we're actually going to be meeting in Grenada, and I have been in touch with them, and they're so excited for us to come, and we are excited too.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
we they're awesome people, and if you're and John, I know you say you are following us and you check our channel daily, so I'm saying hi now. And we cannot wait. I know you said you're excited for our arrival, and Tony and I are very excited to spend some time with you. And Fabian, get ready to start teaching me Spanish because I'm going to be very serious about it. And yes, I will follow with the French as well. So, yes, I am looking forward to that. And we are going to be going to what is the marina we're going to? I wanted to give them a little plug. I can't remember the name of the.
well, we'll put it down. It is the nope, don't remember. Did a lot of stuff yesterday. Um, that's life. So, what else can we tell them before we let them go? Anything else we need to let them know and go about? I had some things in here. I can't really think.
But
One of the things, I
Go
guess I'm
ahead.
going to say it this way. We end this. One of the things we want to do is put out the positivity of the beauty of the journey and the trip.
Yeah.
It was rough. I remember one of my good sergeants in two of the 127th. Yeah, I did that. I actually said that many years ago when he came back from overseas. He said it was a good experience. It wasn't a good time. Now I'll change that a bit. I didn't go through a war. It was a good experience. Um, I learned a lot from it. At the time, I, you know, wasn't always my best self. There was personality conflicts, that sort of thing. But it was a good experience. I look forward to doing it again. And we talked about it. Some people like the big C, some people do not. And that there's nothing wrong with that. So, but one of the where I was going with that, see how I had to come full circle. Wow, my ADHD showing. Um, was the fact that I forgot where I was going with that. I'm gonna have to cut that all out. Totally missed my point. Got totally spun off in three different subjects. it was a good point. It'll come back to me later. I'll make another video. We'll save this for later.
Well, I think you're trying to make a point on the vibe you want on your ship.
Oh, well, we'll put that in there. So give me like.
So while he's thinking of that,
I wasn't. I was giving myself 6 seconds before I talk, so I know where the pause was.
Okay.
But you go ahead.
So while he was thinking of that, I do want to put a shout out to Port Louise Marina. That's where we will be staying in Grenada, and we may be staying 1 month, or we may be staying until November. And they were so nice and so accommodating. We explained to them that we're new sailors and this is our first time actually doing it on our own, doing the marina thing and checking in and doing the whole thing all on our own. And I explained that to them. And they actually don't have any openings there. So anyone that's thinking about going there, you want to plan way in advance. People actually book these berths a year in advance. The only reason we got a berth now, and right now it is March, and we don't need the berth until August. We are going to go in June. So if you're going to go in June, there's plenty available. June and July, you're okay. But August is Carnival in Grenada. And people come all around the world to go to this event. It's a ginormous 2-week event in Grenada, and they are booked out. The only reason why I learned, the reason why we got one is they had 2 people call the day that I called to get a berth and cancel. And it just happened that they were catamarans, just pure luck. And we tend to get lucky.
Sure, we do.
And I fought hard. Tanya and I fought hard to get one of those spots. And we called and emailed and tried to be as polite and understanding as possible. And one thing that Tony did that kind of just, I don't know, it worked. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to offer the money. I'm not going to bribe them. I am just going to accept whatever the universe has for us, and I'm going to relax. And whatever happens, it was meant to be. I didn't like that too much, but I went along with it. And I'm on a journey myself to be more patient, hence our beautiful patience boat, and be okay with what comes at us and evolve around it. Well, we came back from having lunch, and Tony checked the email, and lo and behold, they came back and said, we got it. Not only did we get it, but somehow the harbor master worked it out to where if we don't like where we're staying, we can stay 1 month. But if we see that we like it and we're comfortable and we feel safe and everything's working out, your neighbors are good, we're good, our neighbors are good with us, because you never know what can happen. We're not sealed in. We can stay 1 month, or they are keeping that availability open, that one berth open until November, even if we don't stay till November. I have to acknowledge that. And thank you so very, very much. It's much appreciated. You don't get that, and I won't expect that going forward. I will feel fortunate that we were able to have that happen.
That's polite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said, whatever you do, it's all good. It was much more polite than that, yeah. Everybody was really awesome at the office there. So that's good. What else we got?
And then, we're going to be coming back up, like you said, after we spend the hurricane season, which is like 1 week after November, like after the first week of November, hurricane season technically ends. And then we're going to start working our way back, whether we're in
Grenada
or South America. And then Tony has decided that instead of crossing and going over into Colombia, that I was thinking we're going to save that for when we leave Florida, and we're just going to come back up the same way we went down and come back because it's familiar waters to us. We've done it once, which I can see that makes a lot of sense. And then come back up.
That's wrong.
What?
No, we're going the other way.
Oh, all right. Then I'm going to let you take over.
All right, I was going to say no.
He's the one doing most of the mapping, and I'm kind of following. So I'm going to let him.
Yeah, we're not going to go back down and around. We're going down. It'll be shooting either across. The political climate's really weird right now, and I want to sail through Mexico because I think it's awesome. So we will see how we're going to get across to Central America. We're not spending a lot of time in Mexico at this time, only because we want to get a little more south. But I guess even coming back up north, it's still up in the air. As anybody who really sails know, the best laid plans of mice and people, are just that. So, but otherwise, we'd go from here to Cancun, around, which would be easier to do than going back around and up and over. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk to other sailors too. So
I was talking about coming back up to Florida after we're done with hurricane season in Grenada.
yeah,
Aren't we following the Caribbean back up the same way we went?
correct. I
That's what I was.
misunderstood. Okay.
That's what I was
I thought
talking
you were
about.
saying once we get back here, we're going back down to the Caribbean to get to Central and South America.
No.
Okay.
I actually said we're not going to do that because that's what you said, and we're going to come back up the same way we went down and cross over to the Bahamas, and then over to.
The U.S. That's the United States.
Are you doing Bahamas? Or are we going over to Puerto Rico again, possibly?
Yeah, but Puerto Rico is before the Bahamas.
Right. So we'd actually come up the Caribbean over to Puerto Rico and the Dominican, and then from there over to the Bahamas.